Blender for Noobs.
Hello, this is Dan Nobles and welcome back to Blender for Noobs and welcome back to the tutorial on designing your own car. And this part of the tutorial, part 8, we are going to be creating the tires. So this part of the tutorial, if you just want to create tires, you can do it by just following this particular video. So just to let you know, some things that I did in between videos here is well, not a whole lot really. I just took the seam of the door and moved it closer all the way around so that it's less of a gap there. So let's go ahead and get started on the tires here. I'm going to go into the side view, control up arrow, and start to make our tire here. Let me go ahead and save this file, save as, and I'm going to call this part 8. Modeling underscore tires. Okay, to start with our tires, we're going to be modeling one good tire and then just duplicate it. So as long as we get the first one how we want it, then we'll be good for the other three. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click here. It might be left click on your mouse if you use the right click to select, but I'm just going to place the 3D cursor right in the middle of where the tire would be, and that may not be where I end up placing the tire exactly because of this drawing, but we need the 3D cursor there in order to create the tire correctly. So just go ahead and leave your 3D cursor there where you think the center of the tire is going to be, and let's go ahead and create our tire. So I'm going to do a Shift A, choose mesh, and I'm going to choose cylinder. And before I do anything with that cylinder, choose T in the Tools menu. Come down here at the bottom of the Tools menu, you'll see a little plus mark. Click that plus mark, and that will enable you to change the settings of your geometry here. The cap fill type is normally set on end gone. I have it set on nothing, so we don't have any ends on our cylinder. Size is fine for now. Radius is fine. The vertices, though, I think are normally like 32. I'm bumping this up to 128, and those are the settings I want for the tire. So T, get out of that menu, and for our cylinder, I'm just going to choose, I'm going to rotate around the Y, so RY 90 on the numpad, enter. Okay, and notice that it has created it right in the center, which is what we wanted. And I'm just going to scale it up to about the size that the tire is supposed to be. Now, it doesn't matter too much that this may not be the exact placement or the size of the tire. Right now we just need to create the basic tire. So you don't want to move it away from the center, in other words, because we're going to be using the center for other things. Okay, that's a wide tire there. So I'm going to SX scale on X and just bring it down a little bit. Now what I'm going to be doing with this tire is mirroring it, so it doesn't have to really be too wide. I guess to start out with, I'll just make it a little bit wider, so I'll have some working area here. Okay, so right now we're just going to be dealing with a tire. We don't have to worry about seeing the car or anything. So with your tire selected, I am going to just choose Shift H. That will hide everything else. So that'll let us concentrate on the wheel itself. Okay, tab into edit mode. And let's go into one front view. I'm not sure why I'm seeing the side view image there, but that's okay. And I'm just going to do a Control R. And I'm going to use the mouse wheel, mouse up some, so we can get some of these edge loops put in here. And I think probably about that many is fine. So click twice to set them right there. Okay, and then again one in the front view. I am going to select out here on the side and B box select. Okay, so what I'm going to do is select vertex select and choose one front view and select a vertex out here and just B box select all those vertices there, and choose E, extrude, select off of that, and then S to scale, and just scale this in a little bit, not too much. Remember, it's a low profile tire, and then bring it out some, like so. Okay. And then let's go ahead and extrude again, and S to scale inward a little bit more. Okay, so now what we need to do is choose face select. And with this tire, I'm going to be doing a few variations of how you can create tread. So it'll give you a few ideas on creating tires in the future. When you create tires, I mean, every time I create a tire, I do it differently. It's kind of fun because you can do it, you know, so different each time. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, go to one front view. I choose, what I want to do is choose the C, select tool, and I just want to choose these three like this. And I don't know if this will work going through the whole tire. It looks like it might. So I'll give it a try. So what I'm going to do is skip 2 spaces here, use C select, and just select these 3. Oops, not those. Select 3 here, skip 2. And by the way, make sure that your occlude is turned off. Otherwise you won't be able to select the other side straight through. So just follow the same pattern until you start to have problems because it's too small. Don't want that one. And how do we do over here? Don't want that one. So it looks like it's doing okay so far. So 7 top view, and we're going to do the same thing here. Skip 2, C select. Okay, and you should have something that looks sort of like this, except don't want that. And we got some extra selections here, so I need to fix this. So I don't want those. I want that or that. Yeah, so it didn't match exactly when I got down to those small areas to do. That's okay, we can fix that. And then your last one is not going to line up, but that's okay, just as long as you put that middle one in there. All right, so how does that look? We still have one here, a couple here that we don't need. We don't want any of those outside selected. All right, so with all those selected, let's do an E extrude, select off of that, and just S to scale and scale inward. Not too much, but something like that. Tab into edit mode, you can kind of see what it looks like. Or I'm sorry, object mode. Tab back into edit mode and go into one front view, choose vertex select. And this time we are going to select all these vertices along here. So B box select all of these. And we are going to go into a 3 side view. And I'm going to do an R rotate. And I'm going to rotate this like 10 degrees. If you look at the bottom left, you'll see the degrees. So in this case, -10, but 10 degrees anyway. Is that too much? Yeah, that's really too much. So Go back into edit mode. R rotate, let's back up 5 degrees, take a look at it. All right. I think I'll just leave it like that. Okay. Next, we're going to go into tab into edit mode again and choose 1 to see the front. And let's do an Alt select on this and Shift Alt select. Just Shift Alt select all these here. And I'm just going to move these over just so I get a thin line here. And choose Faces. And I'm going to Alt select in the middle of those faces so I get that entire line right there. And I'm going to choose E, select off of that, and S to scale. It's going to scale inward quite a bit so you get that nice sharp groove in there. And in fact, probably can scale a little bit more if I wanted to. Okay, and let's go back into vertex select, 1 front view, and Alt select these, Shift Alt select these, Shift Alt select, Shift Alt select, Shift Alt select, and I'm going to bring this one over and go into face select, and I'm going to Alt select these faces here. And this will be kind of interesting. What I'm going to do is choose the T for your tools, and I'm going to extrude individual, which will cause us to extrude individual faces. So just click that and then immediately escape with your non-select key. In my case, it's my right key. And then we're going to scale these. So I'm going to choose S, scale outward, not a lot, maybe right there. Okay, and next what we're going to do is I'm going to come down here to the pivot point and I'm going to change this to individual origins, and I'm going to extrude individual and select off of that, and S to scale, and you should see your faces scaling there. And then go back to medium point on your pivot point and S to scale, and that will scale them outward. Don't want to go too much, maybe something like that. Yeah, really kind of looks weird, but anyway. So next what I'm going to do is tab into edit mode, choose 1 to go into side view, and choose vertex select, Alt select here, and Alt select all of these, and just move this inward. And let's see, can I Shift Alt select that again? Yep. So get rid of that one and just move this inward, and we're going to make another just straight tread here. So face select and Alt select here, and just E extrude, select off of that and scale inward. Okay, and back to vertex select, front view, Alt select there, and I'm just going to bring this in. And let's create some more geometry here. Control R, edge loop, bring that about right there. Control R, edge loop, bring that about right there. Okay, and right here we're going to do, actually let's see, we can do something a little bit different. Yeah, we'll do something different. Okay, so face select, and just use your C select tool again and just C select these two. And I'll go ahead and just skip 2 again. These should select a little bit better since we're not selecting at an angle. Okay, go into 7 top view. Continue on with your C select tool By the way, the low profile tire is one of the advantages of it is it gives you more control on the road. One of the big disadvantages of the tire is if you hit potholes and things in the road, bumps in the road, you feel it a lot more. Also, it's not very good for driving in snow. Just some information there. Okay, so let's see. All right, I'm not sure if that's what I really wanted to do, but anyway, yeah, that'll work. So I choose E, select off of that, and S to scale, so we could extrude it inward a little bit, like so. Then go into your vertex select, choose one front view, and I'm going to choose all these vertices here. Oops. Oh man. Moved my 3D cursor again. All right, so B box select, make sure you get all these vertices here. And let's go into 3 side view and just R rotate these. Let's do only about 5 degrees. That's maybe a little much, I think. So 3. And just back it up a little bit. Okay, 1 front view. And we need to select the other side. So right in here. You want to make sure that you have what you're selecting is the edge of that where we extruded inward. And 3 side view, and we're going to rotate around the other way a couple of degrees. So it looks something like this. Okay, now that we have this bizarre looking tire, keep in mind in real life no tire would respectively look like this. But I'm just going to B box select all these vertices here, X delete vertices, and that will back it up right there. Actually, let me back up, Control Z, don't really want to do that. I want to keep these vertices and I just want to move them closer. About right there. Okay, so our tire looks something like this, almost like a truck tire or something. And I'm going to do a control up arrow. Let's go ahead and add a mirror modifier. So modifiers, add modifier, add a mirror modifier. And we want to mirror along the Z, not the X. So we tab into edit mode. And, oops, don't do that. A, select all, and we need to pull these apart and then turn on clipping. And then come in here and just push them together to where they're clipped. Okay, now once you have this massive tire here, you can do an Alt-H to unhide everything. And there is our tire right on the car, but as you can see, these things are extremely thick. So with it selected, I'm going to take this pivot point and bring it to the geometry. So tab, oh, not tab, T, go to set origin. I keep moving this stuff, and set origin to geometry. Control Z, undo that. Never mind. I had everything selected and didn't realize it. So never mind. The origin is right in the center of the geometry, which is where it should be. Okay, so SX, and I'm just going to bring this tire in somewhat. I do want it to be wide, but maybe not that wide, and maybe not that big. I don't know yet. Okay, so now I'm just going to do a Shift H again while the tire is selected, so I can only work on the tire. And second to Don't know why this 3 side view. Alright, so control up arrow, and we're going to continue making our tire. Again, leaving your 3D cursor right in the center. If you moved it like I did, just use this little dot because that pertains to the center of your geometry here. And you can move it back, zoom in quite a bit here, and you can get it pretty close enough anyway, hopefully. All right, so for our tire, look at this tire here. Probably that's enough of the rubber part, hopefully. Let me look back at this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, come back in here, control up arrow, and we're going to start on our rim. So I'm going to choose Shift A, create mesh, and create a cylinder again. Leave it right there. Choose T, because if you move it, then you no longer have these options over here to change it. So we don't need all that geometry that we needed for the tire. So you can change this back to something like 32 if you want. It can actually be a lot less. In fact, to get those 7 spokes coming out, I think I'm going to try to use 14. We'll see how this works. Cap fill. Yeah, I don't need any cap fill right now. Okay, so T out of that and RY90, enter. And I think I will start at the top of the tire here instead of the middle. SX. Doesn't really need any thickness to it at all. And in fact, tab into edit mode and alt select one of these loops, choose X, delete vertices, or you can delete edge loop, doesn't matter. And that will leave you with just this one. It's basically what we created as a circle. So I'm going to do a Control S quick save since I haven't saved in a while. And we're going to start modeling our rim here. So E, extrude, select off of that, just pull it out a little bit. E, extrude, scale it in, and this will give us kind of a lip around the top of the tire. E, extrude, scale it, or I'm sorry, move it inward. And then E, extrude, S to scale, and let me control up arrow, kind of look. We do have kind of a lip, large lip around there, and it goes in. Okay, so control up arrow, and I'm not trying to make that tire exactly, just using it as a very rough reference. E, extrude, and I'm just going to move this in, something like this. All right, and maybe back out a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to choose Control R, create an edge loop here, bring this down. This will be the width of our fins, or whatever you want to call them, coming in. So choose face select, and I'm just going to choose every other face here. Hopefully there's 7 of them, if I figured this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How about that? All right, so with those selected, I'm just going to choose E, extrude, and scale them inward. Wow, how cool is that? Okay, so look back, these are kind of like coming out at an angle, sort of. So bring these forward somewhat. And now, while here, I'm going to go ahead and, while I have these faces selected on the end, just choose X, delete faces. So we don't really need those faces, I don't think. And then choose vertex select, alt select. I'm not going to get that edge loop. How about this one? Okay. it is going to give me that one. Is it giving me anything else? Nope. Okay. So with that selected, do a Shift D to duplicate. Select off of that, and S, just scale it right down. Go to your 3 side view and just make sure that it pretty much matches up with your spokes here, and just pull it in to where they're fairly close. Okay, so what you can do at this point is start connecting these vertices. So I just B-box, select these vertices, and Alt-M, merge at center from your merge menu. Same thing here, B-box select, Alt-M, merge at center. So I'm going to be doing all these the same exact way. So I'm just going to speed this up for you so you don't have to watch me do all this. Okay, so then once you have those all connected together, while in your vertex select mode, choose Alt Select on here and just select all the way around, Shift Alt Select all the way around, I should say, so that you have this entire loop selected. And then you can do an E extrude, scale inward, and E extrude, and then maybe move it in like this. E extrude, scale inward, E extrude, scale out, and maybe S scale down. E extrude, scale inward, E extrude, move it in like that. And really just kind of, you can be creative and come up with whatever design you want here. E extrude, scale inward a little bit, E extrude, and I'm just going to bring this out for kind of like the hub. E extrude, E extrude, and then if you want, this may be too small, but you could leave like a little area in the middle here for like, I don't know, an emblem or something. E extrude. Bring that up a little bit, E extrude, and then at the very end, Alt-M, merge at center. So we have something that looks sort of like that. Another Control-S quick save. Okay, go back and look at this. I can see that there's kind of a lip here where those studs are, and they're actually on both sides, which I guess is where they rivet or screw the rim, the 2 sides of the rim together. So let's see if we can create this rivet here. I'm just gonna kind of fake this in, tab into edit mode, and again I'm going to choose Alt Select this here, choose Shift D to duplicate, and I just leave it right where it is, I guess, and E extrude and S to scale. And then E extrude and move that over like so. And then E extrude, S to scale. And we need to kind of look over here to see what we're doing. And maybe pull it out a little bit. Actually, let me back up a little bit. Control Z that. Control Z that. Okay, let me bring this lip in right about there. And what I'm going to do is, because you will see the inside of the tire, or possibly will, or at least see that there's no rim on the other side, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this inside of the rim. So let's see, choose 3 side view, choose A twice to select all. And then in 3 side view, let's choose faces here. And I'm going to choose C and mouse wheel up a little bit so I can get a bigger selection area. And use the middle mouse button to deselect all this stuff. Okay, so what you're left with, hopefully, would be all this inner part of the rim. Shift D, select off of that, and let's scale -1, so S -1 on the keyboard, enter. And while it's still selected, move it over. Make sure I did this the right way. Okay, so I want to move this over so that it's butting up against the one that I just duplicated. So it's kind of hard to see where that ends and begins and all this stuff. So right about there. But I'm seeing a problem right here. That's what I'm wondering what's going on there. It's like when I duplicated it, it duplicated it also underneath it or something. I got some extra geometry in there or something. I'm not sure. But definitely not, something's not right. So I'm going to choose vertex select here, alt select these. Choose X, delete vertices. Okay. Yeah, there's that extra edge loop that I put in there. So Control Z. I'm not sure if I can get a hold of that though. Well, anyway, S to scale. Maybe I can get to it that way. Okay, there it is. So X delete vertices. Yeah, I just had an extra edge loop in there, and same thing on the other side. So Alt select this one. S to scale. Alt select this one. X delete vertices. Okay. Now we're in a better position. Okay, now I'm going to choose Alt select these vertices. Shift Alt select these. And choose W special menus, and we're going to bridge these edge loops, and that will bring them together. Once they are bridged, choose face select. I'm sorry, I don't want face select. Go back to vertex select. Just alt select vertices here. Choose X, delete edge loop, and same thing with this other edge loop. Alt select X, delete edge loop, and that'll delete that excess geometry. So now this lip right here is way too big. We look on this sample here. This is the lip I'm talking about right here. So probably the easiest thing to do is just do an SX and just scale it inward a little bit, like so. And then do one front view, B box select all this area right here, and just bring this out to right about here. Now another thing that you could have done, looks like I'm missing some geometry there. Yeah, I'm missing all those points where it would have had the where I extruded those fins, but that's okay. It may even actually look kind of cool. I'm just going to leave it. It's easy to fill in. You just choose the two edges and choose F and fill in the face. But anyway, you could have mirrored this, but unfortunately we had this other geometry here. So that's why I just did a scale -1, and that is in effect mirroring what we had selected. Okay, now the fun part, hopefully. Control S, quick save. Tab back into object mode, and as you can see, this is very square, so while it's selected, I'm going to choose add modifier, add subdivision surface, and bump it up to 2 views, and choose T on the tool menu and smooth shade it. Or you can also if you tabbed in it and selected all, W in the specials menu, you could shade smooth here. It's the same exact thing. Don't confuse it with smoothing though, because smoothing, if you choose that, it'll actually start trying to smooth your geometry and changing your geometry, which has its uses, but not in this case. Okay, so now that we've smoothed it, looks a lot more interesting, but there's a couple things that we need to do. And one of the things that we can do right off the bat, let me control up arrow. Notice that the lip is not meeting the rubber there. So just easy to fix that. Just S scale the entire thing up until it kind of bumps up in front of the rubber there and you don't have any gaps. So that looks pretty tight. These fins look more like a flower petal in the middle. So I'm going to try to fix that by do Control R, add an edge loop. And just short up a little bit, not too much. We don't want to go back to the complete, angular look we had for our tire. Okay, something like that. And then if you look at the middle here, if you need to get any of these lines more defined, you can do that the same way. Just come in here and do a Control R edge loop along here. Bring that in a little bit. Control R edge loop in here, bring that up. Run in here. Probably need one right here. Right here. Just anywhere you think the edge should be sharper than what it is once you've applied that subdivision surface. And again, not butting up completely to the existing geometry. Something like that. Maybe even this one right here. Yep. Okay, so there is a tire. I'm not sure. Control R. If that'll help the look of it or not. Maybe. And then, of course, if you wanted to, Control R, you can kind of get rid of those strong curves there. So it looks more like this, but not a big deal. I'm not going to worry about that. We're already adding just tons of geometry to the model because of this subsurf here and because of all the extrusions we did in the tire. Okay, so here is our tire. We can go ahead and Alt-H, unhide everything. Do 3 side view. I actually need to be in my side view. 3 side view. And select the tire, or the rim, and shift select the tire. And Shift D to duplicate. And just kind of move it into place here. And then with those on, let me go ahead and mirror this as well. We'll get a better idea of what this looks like. So I'm going to, I should have mirrored it before I duplicated it, but that's okay. Control up arrow, add, oh, already got the mirror modifier because of that mirror in there. So I can go ahead and apply this mirror and apply this mirror. Okay, add modifier, add mirror modifier, and choose mirror object and choose our, what happened to my empty? I got too many tutorials going, so maybe a different tutorial I'm thinking of. But anyway, I'm going to do a Shift A, come down to empty, create just a plain axis empty, and you can move it up so you can see it if you want to. That's not what I wanted to do. X delete. We need to move, oh, I didn't do my studs. Let me do my studs, darn it. I'm forgetting stuff here. Just delete this one. Okay, let's go back to our original tire. Side view. Okay. All right, the whole reason that I created that lip there is to get the studs in there. All right, the studs that we're going to put in here, you know what? This one line is kind of screwing up the look of the tire, I think, right now. At least for me it is. So I'm going to Alt select this, X delete edge loop. Okay, maybe see that interior a little bit better. And you could even move that over if you wanted to get it closer to the middle. But anyway, what I'm going to do is do a Shift A, create mesh, and create a sphere. Where's my sphere? UV sphere. Okay, immediately go into T, and on the segments, I'm going to bump this down to like 12 because we don't need that many, and the rings 6 because we don't need very many at all. And T off of that. Tab into edit mode, go into 3, and let's choose face select, and just B box select all the middle faces, X delete faces, and then A select all here, and we're going to rotate along the Y, RY 90, but not that way. RY 180, turn that around. Okay, this is going to be a stud. You can go ahead and model a screw head or whatever that's in there, but unless you're doing some real close up renders, that's not really necessary. In fact, I'm going to move this to the top. S to scale. S to scale. Try to get it into place here. And go back, control up arrow, look at our reference image. Looks like we have like 3 studs around each one. I'm not going to completely duplicate that, but I just want to get an idea of what the size is of these things. So something, I don't know, maybe like that. And then I want to move it in so that it's just going right into the rim somewhat. And that's at an angle, of course. So 1R. Let's rotate it a little bit and see if that'll help. Oh, needs rotating some more. Okay, close enough. So this is the whole reason, or one of the big reasons, that I wanted my 3D cursor in the middle there. Because what we're going to do is we are going to spin these things around the tire. So using the spin tool. So if you use your T menu for your tools, under the add menu, you have this spin. So I'm going to choose spin. And you can see right off the bat it's starting to spin around the tire because the 3D cursor is located in the center. But what we want to do is we don't want it to extrude the geometry. We want it to duplicate the geometry like so. Okay, so we want it to go almost 360, so just going to drag this until it gets back to kind of the point where we want it. So we're only doing 9 steps. What you can do is just bump that up like so. Kind of as many as you want. Just keep in mind that you're making more and more geometry each time. And now we have our 3 studs right where we wanted them. And I think if I tab back into object mode, okay, yes, those other ones are behind there. So that's exactly what we want. If you want to, just to save on geometry, you can come in here, B box select, X delete faces, or C might be easier, X delete faces. see. Just multiple select all these things. Delete faces, and just got rid of that excess geometry. So it looks something like that. Pretty cool. Now, if you want these studs, just trying to see what I'm seeing. I'm seeing those holes in there. Not very attractive. But anyway, if you want these studs on the other side, of course, you are free to duplicate them, do a negative one along the Z, and put them on the other side, but chances are nobody will ever see them. Okay, so now we have that. And I don't think any reason to use the subdivision surface on them. However, you may want to select them and choose smooth shading just so they look a little bit nicer. Okay. T away that tool menu. And now, control up arrow. Now we can go ahead and I'm going to apply the mirror modifier on the tire and see if there's anything else that needs to be applied. I'm not going to apply this subdivision surface, just going to leave it the way it is. Okay, so all that is where I need it to be. I'm just going to shift select this entire tire here, go into our side view, Shift D to duplicate and pull it over here. And just make sure it's kind of in its place there. Oh, I did it again. Delete all of that. Sorry. I want to, now that I'm finished with the tire, I'm going to choose Shift S to move my 3D cursor to the center. So it's right in the center there again. And choose my tire, add modifier. Oh, still getting ahead of myself, sorry. Shift A, create a empty, and just make it a plain axis, and you can drag it up where you can see it if you want. And over here, I'm just going to name this, double click in there, empty underscore mirror. Okay, just select the tire, go to your modifiers, add modifier, choose mirror modifier, and we're going to uncheck this axis, but we're going to use this mirror object, and we're going to choose empty mirror. We do need X, so that way it will just mirror on the direct other side. Same thing for our other items here. I'm going to choose add modifier, add mirror modifier, and choose our mirror object for the empty mirror. And if you don't put that mirror modifier in front of the subdivision surface, you can have problems. So I'm just going to bump that up to like so. Looks okay. All right, same things for the studs. Select those, add modifier, choose mirror modifier, and choose the empty mirror. And they should go exactly where you want them to be. Okay, so with all that done, now we can shift select our wheel, our rim, and our studs. As long as we zoom in close enough to do so. Okay, I think I got everything. So, control up arrow here, 3 side view, Shift D to duplicate, and then bring it over to where you think it should go. That way we've mirrored our wheels on both sides. Okay, so now we can go into the front view and we can kind of look and see what this looks like. My car right now to me looks horrendous. Looks like some kind of gremlin on steroids or something. But I may see if I can do some adjustments. So definitely one thing I need to do is fix this the fenders, do something there. But as far as tires go, we have our tires. And I'm going to do a Control S quick save. And choose Shift Z to go into our rendered view. And you can see the tires don't look half bad. You know, I did some weird stuff on the tread. You know, you're not going to have tread like that. What happened here? Why does that look like that? Just because the angle, I guess? Well, I've screwed up something here big time. And I'm going to guess that it has to do with when I mirrored these tires. Unfortunately, that whatever I did there is so far back that I'm not going to be able to undo it. So, oh well, I'm stuck with a tire like this. I hope that yours didn't turn out that way, but evidently my geometry wasn't placed quite right when I applied the mirror. So anyway, there's my tires. And in the next part of the tutorial, part 9, what I'll be doing is I'll be working with these fenders and probably start to work a little bit with the details of the front and back. We'll see where I get with that. Hope you're enjoying designing your own car so far, even though with my car I'm tending to have some problems here, but problems are good. That way we can learn how to work through them together. So I'll see you in the next video.